My wife is calling the pastor daddy.
I'm not going to be no grown woman calling no pastor daddy. And I'm definitely not going to be married calling no pastor daddy. What?
So mad. I go through my wife's phone
Mm-hmm.
and my wife is calling the pastor daddy.
What?
Daddy. Calling the pastor daddy. Nah, Pastor, open this door.
Oh, he pulled
Open this
up.
door,
He
Pastor.
pulled up.
Yeah, I got a question. No, here's my question. My question to you, why I go through my wife's phone and my wife calling you the pastor of your church, calling the pastor of your church, calling you daddy. You allow your church members to call you daddy? That's what you saying? You saying you want your flock? And I'm gonna upload the footage, and I promise you. No, what you mean? Nah, please. No, ain't no camera. No,
Look, that's my spiritual daughter.
ain't no spiritual daughter, nothing. Ain't no. You is not gonna. You got my wife calling you.
Now, what I will say is the husband, I get it, but he's coming in a little too hot. Even though him coming in hot is valid, but here is my key saying. Even when it's valid, it doesn't necessarily make it right. Because see, at this point, yes, you saw the messages. It doesn't tell what the details of the messages, so I'm not really gonna touch on that. But come on, husband. You gotta gather the information. Let's see if he's gonna deny it. Let's see what his reasoning is. Let's see what's what. Now, again, I get it. Because immediately you look in that phone and it's under Pastor Henderson. I don't know if that's his man's name. And you calling, and I'm seeing my wife call the pastor daddy. Absolutely not. Let's finish it and see what he say.
You got my wife calling you daddy. You calling you? You got my wife calling you daddy? No, I'm not. What you mean? Wait. It ain't no wait. You ain't got no wait. Ain't no wait. Ain't no wait. Ain't no wait. Ain't no wait. You don't got my wife calling you daddy. I don't care if you call no police. You can call the police. I don't care what you're saying. You got my wife calling you daddy. I tell you, there ain't no spiritual daughter. Ain't no spiritual daughter. I promise you, I'm putting this church on blast. What's the name of this church? What's the name of this church? No, what's the name of it? Yeah, whatever.
Now, to me, and of course, we all know that there's multiple layers, but y'all know how we do over here. We gonna learn something from any and everything. Now, to me, husband came in hot. Totally get it. Also, I'm hoping he had a conversation with the wife. You definitely should have. That's a problem. And some people got that old school rant. I get it. I grew up in an old school church too. But we have to just call a spade a spade. The way people are conducting themselves now, not saying that they didn't conduct themselves like this back in the day, but the way people conducting themselves now is just too much going on. It's too much going on. Number one, it's too much going on. Number two, it's too much going on. And number three, exactly, it's too much going on. My thing is this. I'm definitely having a conversation with the wife. That's out the gate. Because you shouldn't be calling another grown man daddy. And some people may be like, what's the big deal? What's wrong with the word? If you don't have an issue with it, you don't have an issue with it. We get it. That's not for you. Right? But the thing is, to me, I feel like the pastor should have, and I get it, it could be kind of hard because if somebody coming at you like that, you don't know what's going on. Again, it's too much going on. You don't know who in your church, XYZ. But if this was kind of a different type of scenario, the husband should have came in a little different and the pastor should have been willing to have a conversation. Now, to me, the fact that the pastor immediately started defending, talking about, hold on, that's my spiritual daughter. It does not matter. This man is coming to you saying, I don't like it. From one man to another, you should at minimum respect that. Sometimes we be just trying to overdo it with these religious beliefs. We do understand there's a difference between going to church and having a relationship with God. And it's like, oh, but that's just my spiritual daughter. Now you trying to play in God's face and think because you have the role of a spiritual daughter, you should not respect another man's household. Again, we don't know the full context of the background about that man's relationship with his wife. That's not the point. I'm going off of that clip. If somebody is saying to you, I don't like this, you shouldn't start defending it. But hold on, that's my spiritual daughter. It doesn't matter. You should be saying, you know what, sir? Let me just go ahead and apologize. I honestly didn't think that there was anything wrong. I don't know if she's told you, I've tried to reach out to you, and just bust it down. But the fact that you defending, you trying to hide yourself, I get it, because there's a lot going on. But we have to call a spade a spade. The stuff that be going down in these churches, again, churches have nothing to, how people behave themselves and how they doing the most. It doesn't have anything to do with God. That's what we cannot get confused. And it's just like, it's just too much. And this, what I'm getting ready to say next may step on some toes, don't care. But, because, right, if you know, I don't have to explain my character. I was just talking to somebody the other day. If y'all hear my dog, that's my dog in the background. I was just talking to somebody the other day, and I was genuinely asking them, I said, what is this about people, specifically pastors? Bentley, you can't go scratch your leg somewhere else? Beat it. I said, what is this continual notion where pastors literally neglect their family and neglect their children for the sake of church? Not for the sake of God. You have them saying stuff like, I can't take vacations because ain't nobody going to be because when I don't be at church, the attendance is down. So what? The church ain't going to burn? You making it seem like the church rises and falls on you. It sounds like you giving yourself a little bit more credit than what God has established. And granted, it happens. I made the joke to my friend. I said, it's no different than when you know that the CEO ain't there, the boss ain't there, the manager they ain't there, the team lead, whoever, whatever the case may be. Baby, you doing a little bit less working. And let me tell you something. Some folks get bold because even with the manager around, you people up there, girl, you on Google. Pardon me. I just don't understand that. I don't understand the concept of having a wife. And out of 365 days, granted, it's 4 Sundays, blah, 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 Bible study, how we talking about y'all 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years in, a couple years in, and you still don't know how to add a vacation to the calendar? The church know it's your wife's birthday. Let me tell you something. I would be hot as fire. I don't care if I was a first lady and I loved everybody down, boots. I do not want to spend my birthday at church. It has nothing to do with God. I don't want every birthday celebration to be the same thing. Y'all, I know this one pastor. Let me tell y'all something. Every birthday celebration is the same. I'm like, do your members not think nothing else? They don't think outside the box? Like, and now all these pastors want to do these balls, these sneaker balls. I'm just like, be original. Like, go do something else. And again, we're not talking about a wife that doesn't understand, a wife who has not already sacrificed, a wife that has to already share. We get that. So we're not talking about nobody that's immature. You want me to sacrifice you for the sake of church, but the church doesn't understand that you have a wife and you have children that possibly want to play sports or go do something else, and you feel like the church is going to burn to the ground because you're not there? Where does that concept come from? Y'all know people, it's pastors that literally know their children but don't have a relationship, but then you get in the pulpit preaching to people about a relationship with God. I don't understand that. And then pastors get mad. And again, I know pastors going to feel some type of way like, oh, you not a pastor. You ain't never been. But I know wisdom and I'm not dumb. And then pastors want to get mad because they like, oh, the attendance is lower in the summer. Right. Because people take the summer to spend time with their family, as should you. You should be developing a calendar where your members are on a schedule where they understand, hey, we're all going to take off 2 Sundays in the month of March. Now, they may not want to take their vacation at the same time as you, but you fit everything. You fit choir rehearsal on the church's calendar. You fit new member meeting on the church's calendar. You fit all of these little shenanigans stuff, trying to beast up, trying to get all of these positions. We don't care. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. And if you don't, I don't care. But it's like, so nobody sits at the round table and say, okay, so pastor, what are your vacation days? How is it that God can give the concept to the world that you should get vacation days, PTO, time away, mental health day, but you don't get it? And we're not talking about desert your church. People literally don't be wanting to leave one Sunday. I remember this one person told me like, oh yeah, me and my wife, we don't take vacations on a weekend. And if we do, we got to be back by Saturday. Okay. I'll give you that. There's going to be times that we do that. But if you think I'm finna live a life of that, tell me where the balance is. We've been doing this for 20 years and the church still ain't growing. So this concept isn't working. But our family and our children and our household is suffering. Okay, you a new pastor. You stepping out. You got a bill. But it's pastors that's been in the game. You on your 7th anniversary, your 5th anniversary, your 8th anniversary. The church is still the same. So why is it that y'all still can't go on a vacation for a week? Why is it that you can't say no Bible study today? Because we're going to be gone? Make it make sense. Why is it that your children have to sit back and watch you pour into everybody because I just love God's people? Isn't your child God's people? Isn't your wife God's people? Isn't your husband God's people? See, my problem is there's no, and I'm not talking from a hypothetical. I'm talking from intimate things that I know. There is no balance in sacrifice. You want the woman to give up so much. You don't want to work for 15 years, but she got to work, pay the bills, go without, and she can't go on vacation, and y'all can't do this, and your kids can't stay after school, and it's this, and you want her to cook, but what are you doing? Serving the people? Oh, please. You serving the same people we've been serving the last 4 years at the anniversary. We're not impressed. And Bentley, stop it. And we always try to hide it and mask it behind, I'm doing God's work. So all of y'all that's doing God's work, God never said, hello, apostle, pastor, prophet, teacher. Yeah, you ain't been nowhere with your wife in 2 years. But you know what? Bumper. Because guess what? You my servant. I got you, bro. He's never finna say that. Because now you have children that grow up feeling neglected, feeling abandoned. I know plenty of PKs. I grew up in the church. My grandparents were pastors. So if that concept worked, why do innocent children have to be affected negatively as a result of you working for God? All this praying and fasting, all of this stuff you doing, he's never given you wisdom to say, listen, I promise you, when you come back, I can guarantee you the building's still going to be up. And again, there's going to be highs and lows. Some pastors don't ever take vacation and y'all still complaining about people don't give an offering or a tithe. Make it make sense. That's like any business. I said this on one of my other videos. Nike is not always in the black. They in the red sometimes. There is a time and place for everything. Sometimes that wife got to understand. Daddy hitting the ground running. And not daddy like he was saying daddy. You know how sometimes when you have kids, you say, hey, y'all, daddy going to be working hard this year. He got to get the church going, or he trying to rebuild the church. Of course you sacrifice that. Of course you have that conversation. Of course you be flexible. But the stuff some of these pastors be saying over the pulpit, I be thinking to myself, do they think that's a flex? Me and my wife ain't been nowhere in 2 and 3 years. I'm like, that's not a flex. And we ain't going to talk about the other perverted side. You so into church, but then you cheating on your wife. So God told you don't make time for your wife and your kids, but make time to cheat as long as it's not on church hours. And some of y'all be getting it in at the church. We ain't going to talk about that. So it's just like some of these concepts, I promise you, it be making my stomach hurt. And again, I know all the people going to be like, you're not a pastor. You don't know. But what I do know is common freaking sense. It's called a balance. People be acting like the wife be wanting the pastor to never show up for church. Clearly, you've been making her miss every birthday, every anniversary, the kid's birthday, the doggone baby birthday on a Saturday or on a Sunday, and they got to celebrate it on a Tuesday because you want to go to church. What? Miss me with that. So here, I agree. You should not be calling another grown man daddy. And back to my original point, you got to call a spade in the times we in. All of these men running around talking about, oh, my spiritual father, perversion. It be perversion on the low. These women going around talking about my spiritual mother, perversion. It be perversion on the low. And we know that people be using these titles to manipulate, to groom other people, to get you to tell their secrets so now they can have you by the... I ain't gonna say it. That's the part I don't like. It's so sad that you can't possibly, like, you know, back in the day is pops, mom, mother so-and-so. You have a bunch of women at your church calling you daddy. Then y'all got some of these pastors that be making a congregation change their name. Not legally. It's like, this is a worship situation. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And that's what I have a problem with. People try to act like they try to play dumb. Of like, but what's wrong with that? That's honor. Like they say, one person mess it up for everybody. Maybe there are a few people out there where it's honor, but we know it's more people out there than not that's using a position to throw their weight around and abuse power. Let's just keep it a bean. Because how are you a grown man and you don't understand that another grown woman, let alone who's married, shouldn't be calling you daddy? Ain't no way you can flip. There ain't that much honor in the world. Are you crazy? Half of us, when we pray, we'll say, Our Father. We don't even be like, Daddy, this is me praying. I can guarantee you a bunch of grown men is not getting on their knees or is not spending time in prayer calling Jesus daddy. I can guarantee you they not. And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong if you do, but you're not sitting in prayer saying, hey, daddy, it's me. You saying, Father. You saying, you not saying no daddy. And that's to Jesus. So why you can't understand the concept? And let's just say if what you doing is innocent, the fact that you didn't just simply want to honor her household and the man of her household, and he's telling you that's out, you should have immediately said, yes, sir. But y'all want people to walk into church and respect and honor you, but you don't understand that the honor is now reversed. This man is coming to you saying that's out. You talk about you, her spiritual father. This is her husband. That's why I don't like stuff like that. That's manipulative. And I know he did a really short video. Let's see how he responded. But it kind of, I guess his video cut off at the end, but I didn't see the whole thing. So let me see.
The backstory on what's going on in this video that's going viral with me. My name is Pastor Samson Oda from Faith Move Church.
You want to get a backstory?
One of our members in the church, she has been coming to church faithfully, paying her tithes and everything, you know, everything, worshiping God, all that good stuff. And I'm like, she's like, oh, I'm married.
So
I'm like, what's your husband? She said, oh, my husband doesn't come to the church. And I've been calling her, praying with her, like, hey, you know, this. I know there's a lot going on.
He don't go there.
I don't know whatever is going on.
She already explained it.
But I've been praying with her, like, hey,
what that got to do with what she's saying?
God will mend the family and everything. I've tried to reach out, mend the family.
Look at this manipulation. Oh, I've been praying with her that God mends the family. And anytime during prayer, the Lord never said, it's probably not the best decision to have a married woman call you daddy, whose husband doesn't go to the church, is not involved. He may take that the wrong way. So maybe until you establish a conversation or a relationship, you might want to be off limits on that. God didn't tell you that. But if we talking about honor, I want to know, do he go to work and honor his boss and call his boss daddy?
The family and everything. I've tried to reach out to her to bring the husband in, but the husband never came in. And one day he just showed up and started saying,
I want the Lord to mend the family. Why we gotta hide everything behind prayer and God? It's like, oh, stop.
That's my spiritual daughter. It's like, oh, there's something wrong with that. I'm like, I don't know, but I would love to.
What don't you know? See his video cut out. What don't you know about what this man is saying? What is not to know? He said there's something wrong with that. Why can't you just honor that? I am so perplexed. Y'all, let's read some of these comments. Let me see. I'm going to read a few of these comments. Let's see what some of the people in the comments are saying. And we know some of them could be trolls, but. Okay, somebody said this is common in African churches. Okay, fair enough. Again, in African churches. Maybe y'all understand that. So which is why I said, if that pastor truly believes what he did was genuine, fair. But what this man is saying is he doesn't want his wife doing it. You should respect and honor him. You don't have to go live with this woman. You don't have to go in between the arguments after when you at church and church is over. She's going to go home to him. It doesn't matter he doesn't come to the church. I'm not saying that his soul doesn't matter. I'm not saying that. Somebody said this explanation made it worse. Right. Pastor is capping. Now, sometimes the reason why I like to read comments because everybody in the comments ain't spiritual. And even people of the world, Ray Charles could see this. Somebody said the man somebody said, need to check your wife. She don't respect you. Somebody said, I'll call my spiritual father daddy in front of my husband. And that may be something that works for you guys. Somebody said accountability. Your wife is calling him daddy. Don't come for the pastor now. To everyone commenting, and then he responds, I guess, and says to everyone commenting, no, she's not my wife. She's a spiritual daughter, and I'm honored to guide her walk with Christ. Again, all them extra deep answers gets on my nerves. I have yet to, and I'm not saying he didn't, but what happened by saying, hey, this is what we practice. You know, I probably should have waited until I was able to speak to the husband. And even if she said, no, I don't mind. The husband should have been able to find some messages or be able to tell his wife. And his wife should have said, well, to be honest with you, I'm doing this on my own. The pastor actually said to me, you're married. I've never spoken to your husband. Possibly I've never met him. I don't think you should be calling me daddy because that could be offensive. I would rather try to get to know you and you be my spiritual daughter. But understand this, you have a husband. And the last thing I want is to hide behind honor and then I offend the next man. But see, we don't think like that. Now, if she continues to do that, at least he should have said, wait a minute, hold on, man. But did your wife tell you that while my other daughters call me daddy, I told her if they're married, there was a conversation had. So now he can now go and just address the wife by himself. And again, some people can say, but that's not fair. He shouldn't single out that spiritual daughter. Then y'all need to understand what it means when you get married. Y'all need to understand that. Because again, if you are on a job and the boss comes in and says, I got a new title and you're uncomfortable with that title, aren't you going to say something? So what's the difference? Because it's church? Are you going to stand for something that other people may think is not mistreatment, but you think so? Aren't you going to say something? This is what kills me. We understand stuff everywhere else, but then we get oblivious. It's okay. There is more than one way to handle a situation. And now if that wife does not understand that when that pastor explains it, it's not on that pastor's hands. He could say, wait a minute, I told your wife. Now she kept calling me that after the fact, and I let her know, I am not requiring you to call me this. I have to respect your husband who I've never spoken to or never met. It doesn't mean I don't love you any less. It doesn't mean da-da-da-da. Again, it's no different than when you have multiple children. Don't we all treat our children different based on their personalities and characters? Now we seem like we can't comprehend that as for a grown woman. And like I said, I respect, like somebody said, African culture. I respect that. Somebody may just say it may not even have nothing to do with African culture. Maybe that's just what he does at his church. I respect that. But what did you do to cover your bases? And maybe he did have a conversation. We're only going by the clicks, right? So I'm not just overly accusing the man. I don't know. People are just saying, it's very common in the African culture. And again, I respect it. But we have to also understand God gives us wisdom. And even if it's a common thing in African culture for men and women to refer to their pastors as daddy, that's fine. But you also can't be upset if somebody doesn't want to call you that, or if somebody is saying, wait a minute, because now if they're bringing it to you and saying that this is not something that they're comfortable with or that they like, and you take the stance and say, hey, you're a husband, I understand that. So what I'll do moving forward is I'll let her know XYZ, and I'll make sure to express, my love or anything isn't going to change. And I want you guys to go and work that out privately. And now if your wife continues to come back and say that, now the pastor's done everything he could. And now that man has to take it up with his wife. But again, because there's just so much going on and people do absolutely too much, I have the ability to always understand both sides of things, even catastrophic situations. I just feel like that pastor shouldn't automatically jump to, she's my spiritual father, because there's wisdom in that. I would have said, oh, you know what, sir, we have a tradition here. Matter of fact, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Pastor blah, blah, blah. I can understand that you are upset by some messages you've seen. And I just want you to know we have a culture here, or this is what we typically do. I would have took an opportunity to break it down to him if he would have allowed. And then I would have said, what steps can we take? Would you like to have a meeting with your wife? Would you like to talk to her separately? I can definitely make sure to let her know moving forward, because her marriage to you is more important than what she referring to, who she's referring me as at church, who she's referring me. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. And I'm not saying it discredits honor, but it's not going to stop this woman from getting in heaven. So let's not put all of this spiritual stuff behind it. Like, play with somebody else. You think God is so concerned with a woman that doesn't respect you, who just takes the word. You think God is concerned with the woman that respects you, that if she removes one word, but still calls you prophet or apostle or pastor, you think God would rather be like, no, she got to keep calling you daddy, bump her marriage, bump her household, bump you causing division. He is not finna say that. And as a pastor, you should understand that. What if the husband doesn't go to church? What if he's not familiar with it? Okay. Because honestly, the husband is not wrong. He could say that I have a concern with that. Culture, tradition, doesn't matter. We just have to respect everybody. Don't talk to me about honor and respect, but then you didn't show this husband honor and respect. He don't go to your church. He's married. She goes to your church, but she's married. How as a man you don't understand that? That's why I'm like, it's some of the milk ain't clean. So that's just my opinion. Y'all can comment below and tell me what y'all think. Again, it's nothing personal to anything we talk about. Is nothing personal. We don't be knowing these people as individuals personally or any of that. We're going off of certain clips that we see. Again, we know that there could be multiple bases. I 100% get it, but we still try to learn something. So the moral of this story is be open-minded. Don't ask for something you're not willing to give. If you want to be honored, he's telling you to honor him as the man of his household, as a husband. If you want to be respected, then we should respect other people. If you want somebody to hear you out based on culture, race, gender, age, how you grew up, what you like, what you don't like, how you love, how you hate, how you this, you got to respect that with somebody else. If you want to have grace, you got to show grace. If you want mercy, you got to show mercy. But see, that's our problem. We want to do things, but then we want to play dumb and get amnesia when it's done to us. I don't get it. Why is the husband upset? The same reason why you think you should be honored being called daddy. It may not be the same exact thing, but the foundation is respect and honor. So why are you scratching your head trying to figure out why this husband is asking for respect and honor? And one thing about it, two things for certain. I didn't like the energy the husband pulled up in, but guess what? He still pulled up. Because a lot of people be talking, and you're not going to pull up and have a face-to-face conversation. Because what I'm not going to do is just only talk to one person. We finna talk to every source so we can get to the bottom of it. And again, not that I gotta come with the energy of like rah, 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 but let's talk about it. Love you, bye.